there's a report out that says, hey, guess what? We're already too reliant in the United States to parts that are made in China. And it's not like they're tires. They are things that can have technology put into them that could be hard to find and that could be easily manipulated. That I am learning all from this new report, right? Could go after your power grids, could go after your future, could do anything. So what do we do about it? Joining me right now, the brothers that co-founded Gladstone AI. They are the firm that published this report today. Jeremie and Edouard Harris. It's good to have you both, fellas. Thanks for joining me.
It's great to be on. Big fans of the show. Thanks, Chris.
So
hey, Chris, thanks for having us.
Let me skip 2-3 steps for a second. This report is not a secret. The White House has been aware. Jeremie, what is your sense of the urgency from the White House?
Well, so right now, I think an important piece of context is that basically all of our top AI labs are united in this view that we're headed for something close to maybe human level AI and potentially somewhere in the next couple of years. Like they're talking about 2027 as potentially the year when we get to AI systems that have the same capabilities as human beings across the board. And when you think about what that actually means, right? That has to mean these AI systems are able to do, well, all the things humans can do, like do cyber attacks, right? Automate cyber attacks that could take down critical infrastructure, that could take down, the electrical grid, water treatment facilities, that sort of thing. Design bioweapons. That's another category of thing that we've seen actually a new report out just today surfacing this kind of threat class. And so as we start to think about these systems more and more, not just as like, ChatGPT or Google search or whatever, but instead as weapons potentially in their own right, we have to start thinking about how do we secure them the same way we secure other potential, well, weapons of mass destruction, like nuclear stockpiles, like biological weapons research, that sort of thing.
So this goes, Edouard, to who's making it and this kind of intersection of commerce and security. And you're saying that China already has the jump on us. And what do you believe they could do with what we are sourcing from them?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I really like the way you framed it up actually earlier in the segment, that absolutely the components, many of the cutting edge components that are going into these data centers, like the chips that are actually used to train these models. One of the things that the Trump administration actually has been doing well is trying to ensure that those chips are increasingly fabricated in America or in allied countries. But many of the components that are less cutting edge, like things related to the power supply, things related to the water supply, mundane components around how the data center is just managed, actually do not have non-Chinese suppliers. And that is a very great risk, because that means that a lot of the code, what's called the firmware, the software that actually runs these really mundane, boring, cheap components, can actually be injected with hostile malware, and various things can be done to either disrupt or damage the data center. So you imagine blowing up a cooling system and overheating all the chips, and that knocks it out for quite some time, or actually can be used potentially to infiltrate and get backdoors into the facilities and help to steal sensitive information.
I've been saying for a long time, whoever wins this race wins the next generation of the future. Jeremie, the question is, this is why the Bipartisan Chips Act was seen as such a great thing. Now, petty politics means that Trump wants to cancel it out because nothing can be good if the other party did it. But you guys aren't politicians. Do we have the men and women necessary to do this right now? Do we have the facilities? I heard Edouard say no because they don't have the companies, but do we have the people? And do we have the right kind of environment to have those companies spring up here? What has to happen?
That's a really important question, and it's at the heart of the supply chain, right? A supply chain isn't just a collection of objects, it's a collection of people who work with those things too, right? So there are a couple issues there. Number one, we have, again, thanks in part to some of the policies that have come out recently, we've managed to onshore a lot of chip production. It used to be that basically all of the semiconductors, all the kind of hardware chips that train these AI systems were built in Taiwan. Now, the vast majority are right now, but we're spinning up domestic production. And so that's a significant win. It's got to keep moving in that direction. One challenge, though, when we talk about personnel and talent, is that if you look at all the leading AI labs that are pushing the capabilities of AI systems towards human level and increasingly beyond, the double-digit percentages of those labs, in many cases, are Chinese nationals, and like that's really, in some ways, introduces some pretty critical security vulnerabilities. China has a massive nation-state coercion machine that it's not shy about using. That was one of the things that we learned doing this investigation, is just how far that goes, how effective it can be. And so one of the first things we have to do is take a really frank look at, what is the personnel security dimension of this at many of our leading labs that, again, are pumping out like national critical technology here.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.